Station, this is Houston. Are you ready for the event?
Houston Station, we are ready for the event.
Columbia Space Initiative, this is Mission Control Houston. Please call station for a voice check.
Station, this is the Columbia Space Initiative. How do you hear me?
Well, Columbia Space Initiative, I hear you loud and clear. And on behalf of the Expedition 69 crew, it's a real pleasure to welcome you aboard the International Space Station. Talking with students who are excited about space is possibly one of the coolest things I could do. I'm really excited about this call.
Well, let us say, on behalf of the Columbia Space Initiative, this is one of the coolest things we could possibly do. So thank you so much for speaking to us today. My name is Minjor Rourke, one of the co-presidents of the Columbia Space Initiative, along with Matthew Wernicken. We've got 400 students in the room right now, all really excited to talk with you.
On three, we're going to say hello, International Space Station. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Hello, International Space Station.
Okay, and we have 11 questions for you today, so please spend a minute or two on each one. Really excited to hear your responses, and I'll start off with the first question. Our club, the Columbia Space Initiative, has 8 teams that tackle unique problems related to space, from 3D printing and microgravity to antibiotic resistance on the space station, and more. If you had to choose an exciting problem in aerospace that students can solve, what would it be?
Well, let me tell you, I think the next decade or so in space exploration is going to be absolutely incredible. I'm so excited because we are pushing beyond low Earth orbit and heading back to the moon with the Artemis program. And ultimately, the goal that should inform the decisions we solve or the problems we solve is to go back to Mars, or sorry, to go to Mars, to send a human to Mars and return them safely for the first time, which is an incredibly audacious goal. And that's why we're going to the moon, to set up a proving ground. I'll give you 3 examples of what I think are really, really hard technical problems that we need to solve on the moon before we go on to Mars. So one is radiation. We're protected somewhat even here on the ISS by Earth's magnetosphere. And as we go onto the moon, and especially onto Mars, we need to solve protection from radiation. Number 2 is life support. We have a closed loop life support system up here on the ISS. It's over 90% efficient, our reclamation of urine into clean drinking water. But we need to do even better in terms of the efficiency of our life support systems and also their reliability. Right now, if we have a really bad day and the life support system on the ISS breaks, we can go home. Our lives are gonna depend on these systems for years at a time on exploration missions, and so they need to be incredibly reliable. And finally is comm delay. So up here on the ISS, we get used to having over-the-shoulder video and control teams helping us out with every move we make. And when we go to Mars, we're going to have 20-minute time delays sometimes. So we're going to need to operate much more autonomously. We're going to need new operational concepts for how to do these missions with long time delays.
Thank you so much.
I'm Theo. I wanted to ask, what's your favorite story or fact to tell about your time in space? And can you answer this question upside down?
Sure, I could do that. Get some footholds here. All right, I'll tell you a fact. So let's go back to October 31st of the year 2000. That was the launch of Expedition 1 to the International Space Station. And before that date, well, that was the last date when all living human beings were on Earth. Since that date, we have always had a continuous human presence on board the ISS. People have been living and working in space for over 22 years now, coming up on 23 years. And for a bunch of you in the audience, I'm sure every day that you have been alive, we have had people living and working in space aboard the International Space Station.
All right. Good to see you. Right side up. I take that back. Welcome back. All right. Hello, my name is Matthew. I'm the other co-president of the Columbia Space Initiative. And I'm wondering how connected you feel to Earth while you're up there. And do you ever read news on Earth and think, maybe I should just stay up here forever?
Hey, Matthew, great question. Well, I'll tell you what, I've been up here for almost 2 months now, and I'm having an absolute blast. I'm going to be up here for 6 months, and it is going by so fast. I'm not ready for it to end. But I will tell you, one perspective I've gained being up here is that although it's a huge honor and the experience of a lifetime to be up here, I certainly look forward as well to going home to Earth, the people that I miss, and just some of the things that I miss back on Earth. And so, no, I would not want to be up here forever, although it is pretty awesome to be up here for 6 months.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jenny, and the one question I have for you is, what is one new amenity you wish the space station had?
Sorry, that was hard to hear. Can you repeat the question, please?
Yeah, for sure. What is one new amenity you wish the space station had? What is one new amenity you wish the space station?
I'll give you. Thank you. Whatever you did is much more clear. That was very helpful. Thank you. I'll give you two. One is showers. It would be great to have a real shower. Right now, we just do kind of a towel wipe down and we throw away the dirty towels when we're done. But if we could reclaim that water and have a real shower, that would sure be nice. And another is laundry. So we actually, it's the same thing with our clothing. We wear clothes for a while until they get really dirty, and then our clothes are just trash up here. So as we look to longer duration missions further into the solar system, one thing we're probably going to need is a way to make that a little less wasteful. So a real way to do laundry would be great.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm David, and so we hear about the degradation of the ISS and how it will be retired soon. What system up there do you think is the least efficient, and what do you want to be redesigned?
Oh, that's such a great question. We've been flying the space station for a long time, and it has a long history of how it was built up and all the solutions to problems. And so there's probably some things that we might do differently if we started over. One thing that comes to mind is stowage. So we have really only one module on the ISS. It's called the PMM. There's kind of a dedicated location for stowage, and it's really not enough room for all the bags of equipment that we have. So we end up spending a lot of time just dealing with going and getting equipment that we need every day to do our job. So it would be really nice to have a little more dedicated space for well-organized stowage. And then another example is I'm actually in kind of the cleanest module right now. We're in the Japanese module of the space station, but you see even in this module that's relatively clean and well organized, there's a lot of cables and equipment and laptops all over the place. And so and that sort of builds up naturally over time, but I think having a little bit more stuff wireless to get rid of some of the cabling and maybe just better thought out a lot of these laptops flew up well after the space station was initially designed, and they're a critical part of what we do, but it naturally just sort of grows the mess of cables and equipments.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Michelle, a biology major in general studies, who is
Can you come up here?
a biology. Hi, I'm with Michelle, a biology major in general studies, who is interested in sequencing technologies on the ISS. I will be vocalizing Michelle's first question, fun one. Who is currently winning the ongoing chess game with Mission Control, and who is the best player on your team?
Let's try to bring this down.
We have had an awesome time playing chess with Mission Control. It has been so much fun. I'm a big fan of chess. I love the game. I'm just an amateur player. I'm really not very good at all, but I did fly a chessboard up here in hopes that I might be able to play some games while I was on board. And we ended up getting into a match with Mission Control. So they have their own board down in Mission Control. We've been making about 1 or 2 moves a day. And going back and forth, and we actually just finished the first game. The ISS crew won with the move Queen to A1 checkmate, and it was a great game, a lot of fun. We've started game 2 now, and it's just been a blast. All of Mission Control is kind of helping out, and it's been one of the great pleasures and kind of connections back to Earth during our downtime up here.
Hello up there. Awesome. Okay. Let's back up.
Howdy, I'm Chloe. I'm going to vocalize Michelle's other question, which is what scientific experiments or research are you working on while in space? And what insights have you gained from this experience?
We've had so many interesting experiments. We are often test subjects ourselves in some of these experiments, and we just sent home a cargo vehicle, the CRS-27 mission, full of results from science that we did over the past about 45 days. A couple examples come to mind. There's a couple experiments. One is called engineered heart tissue, and another is called cardinal heart, that are using tissue chips to look at actually heart muscles. We have beating heart muscle cells up here on the space station. So just the cells, but they're actually beating. And it turns out aging processes that affect the heart happen much faster up here in the weightless environment on the ISS. And so we've been looking at using this as a proving ground for treatments for heart disease. And so some of the results from the work we did over the past few months could inform that in the future. And then just this morning, actually, I was working on a experiment called Capizorb. It's a capillary fluids experiment, and it's a tech demo for possible future CO2 scrubbing technology, and looking at some technologies that are currently used on submarines, but that rely on gravitational forces, and looking at how they would perform in a weightless environment and what modifications would be needed to the technology for that to work up here on the ISS.
Thank you.
Super cool. Next question.
Hello, my name is Ines, and I wanted to ask, what's a creative solution that you had to come up on the International Space Station?
Sorry, gonna have to ask you to repeat that once more.
What's a creative solution you had to come up with in the International Space Station?
Copy. Oh, one that comes to mind is actually food. So we've been eating. There's a great menu of food up here. There's actually a food lab down at the Johnson Space Center that puts together an amazing menu for us. But ultimately, after a few months of eating rehydrated food and sort of food similar to MREs, if you're familiar with those, we look for some variety. And so we've been doing a lot of experimenting with, I've been making all sorts of different taco creations, putting like fruit, pineapples, cranberries on tacos, and just making sort of interesting concoctions. Steve Bowen, my crewmate, baked us an apple pie on Pie Day using tortillas as a crust, and he had some amazing techniques for baking that overnight, and it actually turned out to be a pretty incredible apple pie that we had up here on Pie Day.
Thank you.
Okay, we've got about 5 minutes and 5 questions. So if you could spend a minute on each one, that would be great. Thank you so much. This is so fun already.
Hey, Woody. My name is Gabriel. You're living 24/7 in the most high-pressure environment in the universe. How do you manage your stress, maintain a balance, and keep yourself sane up there?
This is such a great question. I love this question. I think for me, it's all mental. And one of the things that I've realized deep down inside is just how much I appreciate the opportunity that I have to be on board right now. This opportunity is amazing, and it is a once in a lifetime experience. And so, yeah, we work really hard up here. The pace of work is pretty heavy, but anytime that I'm feeling like I need a little more balance, ultimately, I think what helps me out is just the knowledge, the appreciation of how special this place is. And even just thinking that thought for a few seconds makes me realize that every day up here is an absolute blast.
Hi, my name is Daniel. I was wondering if there's anything you wish you knew as an undergrad or graduate student interested in being an astronaut.
Thanks, great question. I think ultimately what I wish I had known was just the confidence that following my passions was the right thing to do. I got interested I did a PhD in computer science. And so I was pursuing kind of an academic career. And I also at that time got really interested in search and rescue. And I was doing a lot of rock climbing. And I recall being unsure whether I should take time away from my sort of real career pursuits to pursue this interest I had doing search and rescue. And ultimately, going and doing that, working summers in Yosemite National Park on SAR, was one of the best decisions of my life. And so looking back, I wish I would have been fully confident at the time that that was the right thing to do. And I'm so glad that I did that.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Layla. Just a heads up, we have 3 questions in 3 minutes. And well, this is several, sorry. I was wondering, what is the most fun non-work thing to do on the ISS? Can you show us?
For me, it's definitely been looking out the window. I've been trying to get better and better at photography, mostly just looking back at cool things I see on Earth. We're in a module right now that has a couple windows facing station port. I'm not sure how well you can see behind me, but those 2 small circles behind me, that is the vacuum of space. And we're looking out over something called the GEM exposed facility, as well as the base of one of our big, beautiful solar arrays here on the ISS. But yeah, looking out the window is one of my favorite things to do.
Hi, my name is Nidhi, and I'm wondering, how has being in space changed your mindset on the world?
I think for me, it's just been an appreciation of how fragile Earth is and how connected we are as a human species. You know, one of the things that's so immediately apparent up here is you can't do human spaceflight on your own. We have to be part of a team. And there's an enormous, amazing team supporting me on the ground right now that I'm deeply appreciative for. And you really get that visceral sense up here that we need that team to achieve human spaceflight. And then beyond that, looking back at Earth and that beautiful marble sitting in the black vacuum of space, you realize that we're kind of one team on Earth as well, and we really need to come together in order to solve the challenges we have on our beautiful home.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Gabby. My question is, there are plans to replace the ISS with private hotels, lunar reefs, etc. How do you see the future of space stations progressing?
Repeat, please.
Yeah, no problem. My question was, oh, sorry. Ninja, can you pull back up? My question was, there are plans to replace the ISS with private hotels, lunar reefs, etc. How do you see the future of space stations progressing?
Yeah, I seriously couldn't think of a more exciting time to be involved in space in general and human space exploration. It's really cool. We are building a low Earth orbit economy right now. It's amazing to see all of the missions to low Earth orbit that are happening. And I think one of the things we're going to see in the next decade or so that I'm super excited about is NASA pushing on to exploring deeper into the solar system, and that's going to start with the Artemis missions to the moon. It is going to be awesome. The Artemis 2 crew was just named. They are going to go on a flight around the moon, and not too long after that, we are going to land humans on the moon for the first time in over 50 years.
Thank you so much. That concludes our.
2 minutes left.
We have
We're gonna take a photo.
2 minutes left, and we're going to take a photo. People that ask questions, please come up to the stage. Keep floating there, Woody. Thank you so much. We'll assemble and we'll keep you posted.
All right, everybody in front.
Look at that floating mic, everyone. Now you're just showing off.
Need somebody to take the photo. Yeah, you can hold it up.
Thank you so much again. We're just organizing this photo.
All right, guys, scooch in close. Scooch in, scooch in, scooch in. We can make 2 layers. All right, come in front. All right. Smile on 3.
Smile, Woody.
Can you do a flip? We got our photo.
On behalf of everyone at Columbia, thank you so, so much. There's the chess game. Thank you, Space Station, for this opportunity. We really, really appreciate it. We'll be remembering this forever.
And Columbia Space Initiatives, it was really a pleasure to get to talk with you, and it's just always so fun to talk about space, and I'm so excited to hear your enthusiasm. Thank you
so much.
Station, this is Houston ACR. That concludes our event.
Thank you to all participants from the Columbia Space Initiative Station. We are now resuming operational audio communications.
Okay. Thank you, Houston. Appreciate it. Is there anything else for us to do?
Yes.
Okay, Matt's on call.
Yep, we're here.
Okay, we're gonna put up.
Right now we see the NASA logo animated. Hey guys, please stay seated for just a few more minutes.
If you want to take a photo with astronaut Mike Massimino, we can take a group one as well in a second.
We just see the scrolling video on the Skype call at the moment.
It'd be great if you could hold still, bear with us for another minute. Thank you.
There's the chessboard.
There's the chessboard.
We saw it there.
Oh, sorry. Yep, there it is.
Beautiful. We can see it. Very cool. This is the shot of the room, the mission control room where the chessboard is located. Yeah, can we take one more photo in front of mission control while we're here, I guess?
Yeah, I can leave that up.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
All right. One more photo.